By the way, jippreżenta Gabriel Lija.
Insellimlek jiena Gabriel Lija u nilqak għal programm ieħor By the way, programm ta' diskussjoni għaż-żgħażagħ imma nitkellmu dwar realtajiet u suġġetti illi jolqtu għal kulħadd u minn ġimgħa għall oħra invarjaw is-suġġetti ġifieri ħafna nies kultant jistaqsuni dwar xi x'inhu il-programm tiegħek. U jiena nsib ruħi f'diffikultà biex nidentifikah għaliex tant kemm immissu suġġetti differenti minn ġimgħa l-oħra u nvarjaw il-mistednin. Jiġifieri dak kollu illi jolqot in-nies aħna niddiskutuh hawnhekk waqt By the way minn ġimgħa għall-oħra u llum bi pjaċir għandi żagħżugħa għaliex inħobb nagħti ħafna wkoll spazju liż-żgħażagħ biex nibqa' mal-iruq tal-programm li jkun programm għaż-żgħażagħ u miż-żgħażagħ barra li nżagħżugħ ġifieri kollox jista' jgħod. Miegħi għandi lil Kelly Azzopardi.
Hello.
Kif inti l-ewwel net?
Good, very good.
Eċitata?
Naqra imma excited.
Qabel bdejna għat li darba kont fuq ir-radju.
When I was about 7, so it's been a
U fej kont, dejden għanna fej kont.
Kont l-Australia, and it was for SBS Radio, I remember, to do the Pritka for Christmas.
Ġir tal-miliet.
Eżatt.
Ilu naqra issa li kont fuq ir-radju.
Yes. And even to try find the station on the radio was a bit of a struggle, but we found it.
Kemm dom tgħix l-Awstralja?
I was there from when I was 1 till I was 10.
Ġifieri għamilt madwar kważi 10 snin.
Eżatt.
Interessanti ħafna. Issa forsi hemm min qed jismana u qed jgħid u jsegwina li xtajjeb infakru wkoll illi aħna bħalissa qegħdin live fuq Facebook ta' RTK 103 mhux biss fuq ir-radju ġifieri tistgħu segwuna wkoll bil-filmat, faċli ħafna tidħlu fuq Facebook tfittxu RTK 103 ħataraw iċ-ċirku bl-aħmar tafsu fuq u tistgħu issegwu By the way bil-filmat hawn min qed jismana tgħid imma din Kelly Azzopardi tkanta jew tisfen jew ġili rrappreżentat il-Malta. Isimana fuq minn ximkien, imma sa fejna fien, inti m'intix persuna ħanejtek tal-medja.
No.
Ġifieri din hija kif jgħidu bl-Ingliż ukoll xi ftit out of your comfort zone. Ġifieri n-nies irdu jikkumpatuk ukoll tajjeb.
Eżatt.
Mela tgħid naftit minn inti ġifieri x'għad jistaqsik biex tintroduċi lek innifsek. Ġeneralment x'tajt?
Mela, I'm Kelly, I'm 25 years old. I'm an occupational therapist and I'm working with kids. I've been working with kids for the past, working with kids as an occupational therapist for the last 3-4 years.
Okay.
But before that I was always working with kids. I always loved, I had a passion for working with kids. I don't know, they just have the emotional intelligence they have and they really motivate me, seeing them
Għandek
improve.
il-paċenzja mela.
Everyone says that. With kids, my patience level is endless, but then with adults sometimes, especially in traffic, no. Patience goes through.
Solidarjetà ma dawk magħkom li tissegunu qegħdin fit-traffiku bħalissa.
Eżatt, I understand it. So there's that. I'm very creative, so I like to be artistic. I like to cook. I like to sing.
Meta tgħid kreattiva fil-kċina imma li
creative in the kitchen as well as, art, and that's why I work so well with kids and as well. So
għax għandek ftuħ, għandek
my mind,
fejn.
that's it. It's when there's something, when there's a goal, it's like my mind will work in ways to find something to make that goal happen. So that really helps as well.
U inti semmejt it-tisir, għandek xi plattek favorit li tgħid Kelly dan huwa l-aħjar platt li kapaċi tagħmel.
I think all my friends will agree that either my pasta dishes are one of my best, so either like a lasagna or mac and cheese, obviously not healthy. But I think those are like my go-to, or else, I like to open the fridge, see what there is, and I'll just make something on the spot.
Issa darbohra tiddewwaquna l-mac and cheese tajjeb.
Next time I'll come with the dish.
Eżatt, mhux nitkellmu dwaru biss, għax issa tibda tqabbadna naftit, inkunu ilna u ġurnata xogħol. Jiena warter tajjeb u tibda tqabbadna il-ġuħ.
Next time.
Ġifieri qed nitkellmu wkoll dwar l-ikel u dwar il-konsum tal-ikel. Ma kien hemm punt f'ħajtek illi xi ħaġa ġrat li imbidel kollox. Ġifieri inti mhux minn dejjem kellek din ħanejtek ir-relazzjoni pożittiva.
Not at all.
Mal-ikel. Toħodna ftit lura fil-passat u taqsam magħna l-istorja tiegħek.
Man, of course. So when it comes to the contest of, weight and weight gain, etc., it's been my whole life. Like from when I remember, it was always about weight loss, weight gain, food, and almost an addiction to food, which I didn't really realize back then. So in Australia, so we're talking when I was really young, I'd always loved food a bit more, but it was, I think the mentality there is different to the one we have in Malta. So it was more focused on educating parents on how to feed their children. So making sure that there are the big 5 in our lunchboxes. So 3 fruits, 2 vegetables, or 2 fruits, 3 vegetables, always making sure there's that variety. Making sure sports was important. So after school, there was no homework. It was all sports. So
Australia kont.
That's how it was. It was all physical activity. So we won't give you homework. We won't give you that stress of school, the exams and everything, but then go home and do physical activity, whether that's riding your bike or walking or taking part in a sport, I found it very good. And I think if I stayed there, I don't think I would have had the same outcome as I did over here. But also that mentality really helped me when I went on my own journey. Then I came to Malta and there was that, sudden stress. So school became a bit harder. After school, it was like stay at Nanna, have the pasta, and I never used to eat after school. That was a new one for me, but that became a habit. So it was eating after school and then having dinner again.
Probabilment in-nanna kien tgħidlek kulħadd ikber.
Eżatt, and don't leave one thing in your plate, għax it's rude mbagħad. So I used to, clean the plate always. So there was that, and even sports. I didn't really find teams that were for girls. It was always predominantly men, so like even football, but there were no like girls team back when I had wanted to start. I wanted mixed teams.
L-Australia kont tilab xi sport?
I did lots. I did tennis, hockey, dancing, swimming. I used to ride the bike, athletics. A bit of everything. So it was always sport, Then I came to Malta. There was no hockey team for me. Then football I found difficult. Tennis I was doing, and I started basketball, which I liked as well, but my weight started to become a bit of an issue. Apart from that, even the stresses of school, I had to stop basketball, I had to stop dancing, and dancing I was doing since I was 2. So there was a lot of,
Ġifieri kellek twaqqaf ngħidu isfejn u kontilek tipprattika minn ta' sentejn. Kellek twaqqaf il-basketball.
Everything.
Ħabba l-istress tal-iskola tgħidu.
That's it, because I didn't have time, I couldn't.
Biex tlaħħaq ma' rutina l-ġdida.
That's as in, I was still young. Like nowadays, I, prioritize my gym, I prioritize my training. But back then, while I'm young, it's like, I'd rather just stay home, So, and it wasn't really something that was...
Il-mentalità ma kienx.
That's it. The mentality wasn't like...
Tistudja, tittinsisti.
It's first school, and then those are extracurriculars. They're not important, which is sad in a way, because I feel like that's not the way we should be.
Il-bilanċ biex jirnexxilek tagħmel it-tnejn.
That's it.
Importanti.
And in reality, that was helping my health. And I just dropped it all to focus on something that was making me stressed, which it does help, obviously. You need school, but it's like, where's the balance as well? So that started to happen. Started eating more because of the stress. And I think I was 11, 12, I noticed like I used to fill my bag with food, take it upstairs, make sure no one saw me, and sneak snacks. I just used to eat at night all the time. And even like my nana used to find the wardrobe full of wrappers. It would just be, and I was too young to understand what was going on back there, but any sort of food, I would just binge on it, everything,
Tkun kilt?
That's it.
Tkun kilt l-ikla ta' flaxija.
That's it.
Imma tisraq l-ikel, titfaġu l-basket.
That's it.
Biex mal-lejl tibqa' tiekol.
That's it. And I wasn't ever restricted, We used to have a variety of food at home, but I used to just have whatever there was, whatever snacks, even galletti, whatever, used to be in my bag to go eat it in my room. It was a comfort eating, And then that just got worse and worse. And obviously I like to cook, so that got, I used to cook for myself, but I used to cook extremes. I used to eat a lot, like
bħal xiex tiftakarx kont
anything. So if there was chicken in the freezer, breadcrumb chicken, I'd have not one, I'd have to have like 4 of them. It would never be one, it would never be a portion, it would be the extremes of everything. If there's baby bells, I'll have the whole bag. I wouldn't just have one. Cookies, I'll have the whole thing, not just one, and I never understood it. There was no like, I look back on it now, I'm like, whoa, that was like a lot, but
dak iż-żmien inti kont għadek xejn ta' tifla.
Ekku, and it was just for me, I just loved food, and I had
sempliċement imħabba l-ikel,
That's it. And then my weight became a bit more of an issue, I did get bullied at school, so that was hard as well. I always knew my weight was there,
Il-bullying li esperjenzajt inti fit-tfulitek jew aħjar issa fl-adolescenza tiegħek kienu wkoll marbut mal-peace jew
always with weight. So it was always, I just get like even doing PE. So I used to love doing sports. I'd get comments. They'd see me running and they'd call me fatty, for example, So it was always, it's like I can't even do sports now. Like I'm trying to get better and I'm getting... That's it. But I didn't, it hurts me, but looking back now, it hurts me more because it's like, that was a lot for a 14-year-old me, Like I was still growing up and all of these things happening. No wonder I kept going for food, That was my easy comfort, Then I had tried, everyone was like, you have to lose weight, the doctor was telling me like, this is too much,
Kelli, dak iż-żmien, kemm qed ngħidu l-kont tiżen tiftakar bieħed u ieħor?
I don't remember exactly, but I think I was well over the normal level for that age.
U ġifieri biex qed tgħid li t-tabib ukoll beda jinkoraġġik biex tonqos.
That's it.
Kienet xi ħaġa li tal-familja nnotaw issa ngħidu.
Yes, for sure. The whole family used to comment, like, listen, I hear you lose weight, And the more people comment, the less you do it. That's what I've noticed as well. So even like when I try to encourage people to lose weight, it comes from you. You can't...
Inti tiddeċiedi li ħatamilha.
That's it. You tell someone you need to lose weight. Exactly.
Kważi iktar rar.
Oh, big time. Because then it's like, the more someone tells you to do something, the less you do it,
Tifrustra ruħek.
Ħafna.
Għax inti tgħid forsi jekk eżempju inti tkun qed tipprova, u mbagħad jiġi xi ħadd u jgħidlek għandek bżonn tonqos ta', inti qed tgħidu tipo naf.
That's it. And insomma, this was when I was like 14. I was so desperate to lose weight. So f'daqqa, I don't know, there was like just a switch and I just decided I'm all in or all out. So I went all in and I cut everything. So no salt, no sugar, there was nothing. So it was just veg, chicken, that's it, Water. I used to have Weet-Bix with water, I remember.
U kienet jirna xilek?
I lost a lot of weight, but it was so restrictive, Obviously I lost weight.
Mod ħażin ukoll.
That's it. And that was the start of, other issues then. So I lost a lot of weight and then we went on to summer. And at this point I was around 16. And when we're younger, we start to see all these videos of eating disorders. And it's trying to make us not do the eating disorders. But for me, it was, they're losing weight. I want to have an eating disorder. And I remember literally watching videos, like trying to search on YouTube, trying to search on Google, literally how to have an eating disorder. I was obsessed. I wanted one.
Ġifieri il-sitwazzjoni minn tfajla ta' ċertu pis mor tar dil-estremita li ma kontx qed tiekol kemm jista' jkun ma tiekol xejn u tfittex online kif jista' jkollok din id-diżordni fl-ikel għax inti kont qed tara filmati ta' nies li naqsu għaliex ma ninsewx illi meta nitkellmu dwar eating disorders jista' tkun bil-kontra li inti iżżid.
And fil-fatt the binge eating, that is a form of eating disorder, For me, I always say it, food was my addiction. So like there's addictions to drugs, addictions to alcohol. Food was a big addiction for me, It was a constant thing in my mind. The minute I wake up, I think about food. And I still have those addictions to this day, They don't just go away. I'm not just going to stop thinking about food. I'm thinking about dinner right now, But I've found a way to be at peace with it. So I've found a way to control it in my own way. So it's not something that's bad anymore. It's not a bad addiction. I love food and that's fine. But that was the biggest thing. That was the biggest thing. It was like not looking at it in a bad light anymore, because food does fuel us, Having the right things gives me energy, gives me muscles, makes me stronger. It's then not letting the addiction win,
Ekku. Immorru lura mela kellek 16 sena.
Eżatt.
Għax jiena għandi ħabta naħu divergence.
Even me, so it's not a good pairing, nasib. So I was in that phase of, I need that. I was jealous.
Kulħadd bis-summer body.
Ekku, and everyone in my class, everyone was, thin and they were getting the boys. I never had a boy look at me like that. So I was in that phase, 16,
Ħafna emozzjonijiet.
That's it. And I was just like, okay, once I had lost weight, I was like, I want to lose even more weight. And I was just jealous of these people that had an eating disorder. I'm like, I wish I had one. It would be so easy. And I remember once I was 16, I ate a bit more fruit than normal. And I said, let me go to the toilet and get rid of it. I managed, and that became a habit, a big habit. So that kept going. Sometimes I would stop, sometimes I would start again. Then I...
Ma kont qed tikol kważi xejn.
Back then, but then, summer came and then I started going out with my friends and then I noticed I can eat and get rid of it. So I'm not going to have any consequences. Little I know, it's
Xorta kontet tikol biex jisek tkompli ma' sħabek, imma mbagħad kont tkun żid tmur it-toilet u taqla kollox.
Exactly, that's what I was. Because back then, when I was 16, then I stopped that restriction and I started going on to the other end, you know. So it was like, I got that, you know, I was going to the bathroom, whatever. I can eat what I want now because I've been restricted for so long. And that started phase 2, basically, I like to say, of my life, you know. So then there was that. I was eating, getting rid of it. I was staying the same weight, but I was gaining. I didn't even notice because I wasn't even weighing myself anymore and all of this.
Sadan it-tant, f'dan iż-żmien, kienet ikollok enerġija fis-sens peress li bil-kemm kont qed tiekol. Kont tħoss ċertu wejja.
I used to get tired a lot, but I kept myself going non-stop. So I would never notice the repercussions, you know. So I was still going out, still drinking. So for me, it was just because of the drinking, you know, that I was...
Torqod tard, alcohol.
That's it. And that was summer. But it used to take up a lot of my day, you know, eating and then spending, you know, how long in the toilet. It takes up a lot of it. And mentally, it was... I couldn't ever eat something for fun. It was always, okay, I'm going to eat it. I have to go do, it's like you have to do something bil force all the time. There's something connected to every meal I had. So there was that. And then I started gaining more. And then I said, no, I don't want to throw up anymore, basically. So...
Kien hemm xi punt imma... X'kien il-punt ħajta bl-Ingliż hekk ta' turning point?
Wasn't even at this point I was gaining weight again.
Okay.
Because you know, if I'm doing this thing 4 times a day and I'm just eating, the calories are going in, you know, the food's going in. So it was quite...
Allora isek bdejt ċorta tinżid fil-kaloriji, mela qasqa qed naqilgħu.
That's it. So I realized I gained weight and I'm like, you know, I need to get healthy again. But my version of getting healthy again was to be restrictive once again. So it was straight away, no carbs, no this, and I used to have my rules. And the rules are what made me throw up as well. Because it was, you know, if I touch a carb, it's bad, I need to get rid of it. It's not good for me. If I eat anything that's not... I used to have a list, and I had written them down once. I want to find this list, but I had lots of rules, you know. It was...
So dan it-tant tal-familja kadin jindunaw?
No, I used to hide it quite well. Even friends, no one would notice. I used to hide it quite well.
Ġifieri kienet esperjenza li konti tiġġorra u tgħixha waħdek.
That's it.
Li fiha nnifisha dik ukoll għandha ċertu peace.
That's it. I had tried to seek help, but that's later on. I went through this restrictive diet. Again, I managed to stay off throwing up for 6 months. Then I realized this was boring. I like food. I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing before. And the only reason was because I was being so restrictive. That's why I went back to, you know, eating whatever I wanted and throwing up again. But obviously that led to more weight gain come my 20s. And that was like the worst period, I think, of my life, of my journey, you know. So there was the COVID gains. I gained the most weight then because no one was seeing me. I had nothing to lose weight for, basically.
Ġifieri qabel, per eżempju, il-fatt li kont qed tiltaqa' ma' sħabek. Forsi għalli kienet ta' inkoraġġiment biex toqgħod attenta x'tiekol biex ma żidx il-peace.
That was it, you know, and I was being more active, so there was less focus on, there was less being like idle, thinking about food.
U kont mur per eżempju timxi, etc.
No. Ma tantx dak iż-żmien, tipo, it was more... Back then, before COVID, I was just meeting my friends, but it was like fun. We used to go out, you know, but I was occupied for a long period of time, so there wasn't that time to sit and think about food and get bored. When I found myself in COVID, it was easy to sit home, and I love eating, you know, so for me it was amazing, you know.
Ħafna takeouts probably.
Oh, ħafna cooking, but eating extreme amounts, but getting rid of it. Ta' parsi, because it stayed, and I gained my most weight then. I ended up going up to 123 kilos. I had tried to seek help as well, because I'm like, but I wasn't ready. Mentally, I wasn't ready. I didn't want to let go of my rules. And it was quite the help I got, I felt was more a one-size-fits-all. So you need to do this, and this, and then you will manage to get rid of it. But I'm just like, but it doesn't work for me. I can't have a carb because mentally I can't take that, you know.
Mentalment inti kont għandek imħawda ħafna bir-regoli li kont ħloqta li kien nifsek.
And it was a big fear for me. It was like touching and not getting rid of it was like a big no-no, you know. I wasn't ready. So I just kept gaining, went up to 1, 2, 3. And I said, I just said I have nothing else to lose. And I started a different, mentality. So I said, I'm not going to focus about food anymore. I eat what I eat. I don't care. I'm going to start training. I got the treadmill and I just used to go on the treadmill, literally 1 kilometer per hour, slowest ever because my knees used to hurt as well. And I said, I need to start walking. So whenever I would use my phone, any series I would want to watch, I used to say, get off your bed, go on the treadmill, let's just walk. The more I walked, the less I used to think about food. The less food used to be my serotonin. The less it used to make me happy because exercise was making me happy as well. And then slowly, the more I started seeing some changes from food, I'm like, okay, maybe I don't have 2 muffins. I can have a quarter of one.
Cool.
And then I started to educate myself more on food. So I started saying, okay, how many calories is that quarter of a muffin? Is it worth 200 calories of a quarter milli having a big salad? And I love volume eating. So for me, it made more sense to have a huge salad of 200 calories in.
L-importanti tikol ħafna jisek.
No, I love volume. And for me, that works. And that's what I tell, because many people have asked me, how do you do it? But for me, I like volume. If you prefer having pasta, go for it. Even I like pasta, but sometimes,
Mac and cheese.
And mac and cheese, 100%. And I'll have that sometimes, but my priority is mainly, eating a lot of food. So I eat a lot of food, but it's good and low calorie.
Din hija l-istorja ta' kelli Azzopardi, wasalna biex nifqu għal ftit, imma fadalla ħafna aktar xtejdilna dwar dan il-vjaġġ tagħha u żgur li qed tkun ta' ispirazzjoni għal ħafna li tisimgħu anki l-esperjenza ta' din iż-żagħżugħa, jiġifieri nħeġġukom biex tibqgħu hemm. By the way, ikompli minn hawn ftit tal-ħin ieħor ibqgħu hemm.
By the way, jippreżenta Gabriel Lija.
By the way, ikompli illum miegħi għandi iż-żagħżugħa kelli Azzopardi illi qed taqsam l-esperjenza tagħha dan il-vjaġġ ta' minn daqsxejn ta' tifla illi tħobb tikol ħafna, illi kif kienet tirrakkuntanna hi waslet illi kellha peace ta' 123 u xekk.
Yep, that's it.
U anki kont tgħidilna kif affettwatek il-pandemija, in-nuqqas ta' ħruġ, il-fatt li kont tkun qed ġewwa, tiekol ħafna, tordna ħafna. Il-fatt li tħobb is-sajjar għal probabbilment kont tara ħafna reels u ħafna riċetti u tgħid daw tajjeb ara nipprovhom. Jiena taqali żaqqi nara dar reels ukoll taqali żaqqi jaħseb wara jekk issajjarhom u tikol il-kwantitajiet kif kont tissemmi inti għaliex inti kellek din ir-realtà li tkun tittiekol ħafna mhux sempliċiment biex tgħid kilt imma il-kwantità.
Eżatt.
U forsi hemm qed jisma'na u tgħid jiena bekk insit il-peace għaliex nikol ħafna bil-kwantità. Complete aktar l-esperjenza tiegħek.
Even speaking about these reels, whatever, even I used to watch Food Network all the time. I remember that was my series growing up, it was always food for food.
Okay, boss u hekk.
ħafna. Min kollox, I used to pretend I used to cook, but then that all helped me because now I use those reels. If I see a reel of a mozzarella stick, sheba breading and whatever, okay, how do I make that healthy? That's where the creativity comes in as well. So it's I want to enjoy that, but let's be creative about it. How can we make that under this many calories so it fits into my day, That's another thing. I tried, so apart from, wanting to eat volumes, I had educated myself on the calories. So
Ġifieri treadmill ħadmet, għax inti kont tissemmi għaliex xajt treadmill.
Yes. No, the treadmill for sure. That was when I started moving more. I was already working with kids then, but it was much harder. I remember most of my therapy sessions used to be me sitting on the stool because I couldn't keep up. If I had to go, do something with a therapy ball with the kids, it was hard. My knees used to hurt. It used to take me a long time to get on the floor. I used to have no energy after the session, lack of breath. It was a lot.
Anki probabbilment biex toħroġ u toħgost ma' sħabek fl-attivitajiet li kontu tagħmlu.
No, I used to avoid them at all costs. I was so embarrassed about my body. I used to lie and I used to get out of any, social event. No, that was a big no-no for me. Sometimes I remember there was one time I had gone out. This was the start of that weight loss journey, and I had said, everyone was much ignoring me, but I was just there in my eyes. My weight did affect me. I said, these people are going to see me and I'm going to lose weight and they're going to see me differently, So there was that,
Ġifieri kien hemm isu dik is-sens ta' solitudni għax tħossok differenti mill-grupp.
Yes, big time. I used to literally but I used to push myself more back, you know, it used to be...
Iktar mill-għax kienet minnaħa tagħhom, iktar għax inti kont taħseb il-perċezzjoni tiegħek.
Exactly. So there was that. But anyway, so started exercising more, focusing, educating myself. So can I eat this? Okay, I can eat this. I can have carbs because, you know, they're not that bad. If you
look at it, tagħmel ix-shift ħajtek ukoll mentali.
That's it. That was the big shift. Big time. Because I said, I was, even like drinking wise, I used to have, if I wanted a Coke, you know, I would have a Coke, full fat Coke, you know what I mean? It's like Coke Zero is not good for you, but...
Prova tkomplix tamil ta' reklami. Dak minn dak, luminata.
Alright, tajjeb. I started to focusing more on not drinking my calories either, because I used to think, I can drink what I want and I won't lose weight from it. It's that education and being more conscious about what you're taking. That's if you cook something, having that spoonful here and there, you are taking in calories, you know. If someone leaves half a bar of something and you eat it, you're taking a lot of calories.
Li ħallu fil-platt?
Oh yes, no, that used to be me. I used to be the cleaner, you know, but you see a spoonful here and there as nothing, but I was having around 2,000 calories extra a day on top of the food I was eating, which I never, you know, thought about, because for me it was, just a spoonful, just a bite of this, just have a small piece of this, just try it. Those just try it's add up, you know, and that's what I tell everyone, just be conscious about those moments and you will start to lose weight, you know. So there was all of that, and then again educating. I realized, okay, rice, I can have it, pasta, I can have it in moderation, and I have to start weighing things. The weighing looks like it's, you know, zeta. The treadmill was the main factor, but the treadmill started me on a healthier lifestyle. Okay. So once I started feeling better about myself, I started saying, okay, I've just lost 400 calories on the treadmill from doing an hour and a half. Is that hour and a half worth that quarter of a muffin? No, I don't need it, you know. I've got other focuses.
Impressionanti, ma kif irnexxielek.
It was a long journey, you know, and it was hard to start. It's never easy. If it was easy, everyone would be, you know, supermodels. It's not easy, especially if we're in a mentality that's not so sports driven, unfortunately, and it's very stress driven. And that's, I think, as a country, I think we love food, and it's a good thing, and we can't be looking at it as such a bad thing. And even, you know, the mentality of, I've gained weight, I need to lose it by this time. That used to be my goal. It used to be, in 3 months' time, I need to lose this much amount of weight. When I let go of all of that, that's when I actually started to lose weight. So when I let go of, I need to lose weight in a month, I started actually losing. You know, for me, it was a journey. It was like, I just want to be healthier. It wasn't, I need to lose weight by this time. I need to lose this. It was, I need to be healthy. That's it. I want to start going out. I want to start fitting into clothes, you know. I want to, and I started.
Kont problema
Ooh, big time. You know, I had 1 or 2 pairs of jeans, jeggings. I had to get the biggest size, and they used to hurt as well. But that was all I could wear, or leggings or sweatpants, and that was it. You know, I could never fit into jeans. And even this, I used to do a thing way back when of buying small clothes and saying I'll fit into them. I stopped that. I did keep them. I do fit into them. Honestly, now they're too big for me. But when
ħafna nies probabbilment huma u kienu, speċjalment min kien jafek, sorpriżi għal bidla kbira radikali illi għamilt f'ħajtek bil-mentalità ġdida li adottajt ukoll.
To be honest, many people don't, like even my mom, when I had shown her the transformation video, she doesn't remember me that size. You know, no one remembers me that size. Even myself, I don't remember me that big at a point, you know, but again, because it happened gradually and not, you know, f'daqqa, it did help as well.
Ġifieri l-iktar li kont tiżen x'kien?
123 kilos. That was my biggest. But I remember my first goal was I need to get under hundreds. I'm done seeing hundreds. For a girl in her 20s, you don't expect her to be over 100 kilos, you know, it's not healthy. So that was my first goal. But I managed to lose like the first 35 kilos, I think, relatively easily without even knowing, just making these small changes. I didn't need to change my life, I could still enjoy food.
Li kellek bżonn jisek titgħallem mill-ġdid.
That's it.
Kif tħares lejn l-ikel.
I started small and then I started getting almost addicted to training. I loved it, I loved going on the treadmill. I bought a watch. And I started calculating, making sure I did 1,000 calories a day, so 1,000 calories to compensate for the amount of food I like to eat, but also being very conscious about what I'm eating. So even meal prep, I used to meal prep and portion control, so I would weigh my food and I will put it in containers, but that helps me because I lose that control.
Ma jfessirx li ħatejn il-kulħadd.
That's it.
Għandu jagħmilha kulħadd.
Ekku, for me it helped me because the food would be there. What's in the containers I can eat, and I used to eat a lot, and I still eat a lot. Sometimes I go to work and they're like, "Illallu, how much food you have?" I'm like, I like food, So I'd have like 4 containers just for lunch, from morning till 3 p.m. But that works for me.
Aħna wieħed jaħdem magħna. Imma jagħmel hekk ta' imma jekk jagħmel bħalek, jagħmel sa flaxija x'tant kemm jikol bil-mod. Imma jiena mhux ħan niġġudika. Għax jiena persuna wkoll li komparat ma' nies oħra u ma' sħabi nikol bil-mod ħafna. Ġifieri.
No, but I gobble life. But that was another thing I had to change as well. So from before when I was eating a lot in bed with the mobile, with Netflix, whatever.
Kont tagħmel ħafna hekk ġifieri, ħafna ikel ġo sodda.
Oh yes, I used to watch a lot of TV, whatever. I used to,
Qed nimmaġinak ma doffi f'dawk l-immaġini stereotipiċi ta' xi ħadd b'ħafna kaxxi tal-pizza u tal-burgers fuq sodda.
It wasn't one pizza, it was 3 at once, It was
Konti kont let pizza f'daqqa.
Yes. No, I could eat, It was always extremes. But I said, okay, I need to stop. Bed is not the place to eat. The couch is not the place to eat. Eat at the table, get rid of the phone. You have half an hour of eating. Just focus on eating and feeling when you're full, because that's another thing.
Għax dik xi ħaġa oħra li llum il-ġurnata kulħadd qisu bil-mobile f'idejh waqt li qed jiekol.
That's it.
Qed insemmu l-mobile. Nixtieq nieħu spunt. Għaliex jien l-ewwel darba li tqajt mal-istorja tiegħek kienet meta tarat il-post tiegħek fuq il-mezzi soċjali isu anki ċelebrazzjoni għal dak li rnexxielek tikseb. Ċelebrazzjoni kbira kif qed nisimgħu anki illum fl-istorja tiegħek. Nixtieq nkun naf kurjuż dwar il-proċess biex wasalt anke taqsam l-istorja tiegħek online pubblikament u tafas dik l-imbirka ħanejtek share button għaliex ġifieri qed tgħid kemm kienet diffiċli. Dal-emozzjonijiet kollha li għaddejt minnhom, semmejt il-bullying li kellek sħabek li qegħdin f'relazzjonijiet jew kellmu ġuventur u inti kellek il-problema mhux biss ta' kif qed tħossok, imma anki din il-problema fuq livell ta' ħbieb u fuq livell ta' ħbiberiji. Imma ddeċidejt illi tagħmel dan il-pass u taqsam l-istorja tiegħek ma' ħaddieħor.
It was very it was actually extremely difficult. Like I had started gym with my trainer Justin. I think I had started gym from before, and they all helped me. But when I had started with Justin, then it was at a point where I was like, I plateaued. So I wasn't losing, I wasn't gaining, but I wasn't excited about exercise as I was before. And I never thought I'd get into strength training, but I absolutely loved it. He started giving me more confidence. And I showed him my transformation. And he's like, Kel, post it. I said, no, I can't. Like, I don't want to show off. I'm scared to. And it's very exposing, I'm putting myself out there. For me, it's still me. The 123 kilo girl that's me, I don't want people to make fun of her, So it's still very much like, and he said, you might be able to help someone, by just saying your story. And I said, okay, let me just post it. I'm just going to post it. I didn't expect at all the amount of support and the amount of, people I managed to help people, I had people messaging me saying how it's motivating them and inspiring them. I was like, Lalu, like, how is me, Kelly, helping people in this way? But then I remember myself back then, I used to watch the same videos and I used to watch the people losing weight and I said, I want to do that. I really want to do that. That's why I took the before pictures in the start,
U probabbilment ħafna nies baqgħu sorpriżi wkoll għaliex meta inti ħloqt il-profil ta' Facebook, Instagram, etc. u mbagħad bdilt ħajtek ħanejtek, bdilt l-istil ta' ħajtek, dawk ir-ritratti probabbilment kont naħħithom kollha.
As in
allura n-nies bdew jgħidu possibbli?
That's it. I always kept locked on I remember notes. I locked all the pictures away. I didn't want anyone to see them. But I said, I need to take before pictures because I've I've lost weight many times, but I never had it before. I said, this time I'm going to take a before picture. It's locked away on my phone. I don't want to look at it. And then so sometimes like people would say, how did you lose 50 kilos? I don't remember you, that size. I go on my notes and they're like, what? That's you, And then I'm like, okay. Then I made this video with the help of my trainer again. And the, support was crazy.
Kem batulek nies?
Il-lallu.
No, nies ta' kull età, nimmaġina.
I did not expect that at all, At first I was like overwhelmed because I'm like, I like to respond to everyone. And I really didn't expect it.
U din hija l-ewwel intervista tiegħek wara.
Eżatti.
Probablement ma bsax li tispiċċa. Mistiedna fuq ir-radju wkoll.
No, not at all. Again, this was like for me my little journey, So to get all of this from just that.
U f'dak iż-żmien, għax inti semmejt in-notes fuq il-mobile, etc. Kont fi proċess pereżempju li tikteb kif qed tħossok l-emozzjoni tiegħek tipo journaling jew b'xi mod.
I wanted to do that. I didn't. I think looking back, I wish I would have, because I wish to see, because I forget a lot of those moments. I think it was such a traumatizing period for me that I've literally forgotten how I felt in that moment.
Tħossok li forsi kont f'depressjoni, per eżempju, f'dak iż-żmien?
I think so, for sure. As in, not wanting to go out, not meeting anyone, always feeling horrible about myself. It was not a good period at all. I do remember crying, because I have crying pictures as well of back then, but it used to be a daily just misery, There was nothing to look forward to.
Sakemm? Mbagħad bdejt.
Eżatt, and then I started and
kien hemm xi ħaġa li kont tgħid lilek innifsek xi frażi illi forsi llum waqaft tgħidha u llum il-ġurnata tgħid frażi ġdida lilek innifsek, hemm xi frażijiet illi forsi jibqgħu miegħek illi kont tgħid dak iż-żmien illum il-ġurnata m'għadekx tgħidhom imma tgħid xi ħaġa oħra u anki kif isek ħanejtek skoprejt din l-imħabba ġdida lejn il-ġisem tiegħek.
Well, actually, I was going through my home pages the other day. I noticed one of my lock screens was "Success is the biggest revenge," and that was like my motto back then. It was like, I'm going to put.
Kattiverja isek mek innifsek.
It was like revenge on myself for getting that way, revenge on the bullies, revenge on anyone that ever looked down on me. But I said, the only way I'm going to silence the bullies, the only way I'm going to, silence the negative thoughts is success. And that's, that used to help me a lot. And I used to keep that on my phone. I used to say it. I used to make myself believe it,
Tħoss li il-mezzi soċjali bħalma jistgħu servu taġid kif servit l-esperjenza tiegħek, imma minnaħa l-oħra faċli naqgħu fi trappola f'nassa li nara l-stories ta' ħaddieħor, nara n-nies imorru l-gym, nara n-nies jagħmlu shakes, nara n-nies imorru l-high rocks għax bħalissa voga u nibda ngħid ma' doffi jiena vera żdied fil-pace u waqaftem u flok ninkoraġġixxi lil innifsi nispiċċa nara l-ħajja ta' ħaddieħor ideali u tiegħi bħala waħda negattiva pessimista u li mhux ħaninqala minnha.
That used to affect me big time, actually. That's another thing. I had to learn you cannot compare, Again, what works for me will not work for everyone, That's why I just say, just move your body and see what works for you. And even now, to this day, I still compare myself. It's a normal thing. I look at someone, I say, I wish I looked like that. But then I take a minute, I'm like, wait, look at how I was before. This is my journey. It's not something easy to accomplish. I need to stop comparing, This is my journey, no one else's, and that's how everyone should be.
Li tara li din hija rotta vjaġġ uniku.
That's it. And unfortunately, not everyone, my brother, for example, wasn't ever my size. He didn't look at food the way I did. But unfortunately, I'm the one that gained weight. I can't compare myself to my brother because my brother was always sporty. My brother, always looked at food a different way. Where's the comparison, I can't say I want to be thin like him. It's impossible, It's my own journey, I had to figure it out on my own. So this comparison is... it doesn't help at all. The more pressure you put on it, the worse you'll end up. the more you'll gain, I think, because that's what was happening to me. The more pressure I was putting on weight loss and looking like this and expectations and all of this, the less I was losing it.
Kien hemm xi ħadd matul dal-vjaġġ personali li għamilt barra trainer li daħal f'ħajtek reċentament. Kien hemm xi ħadd ieħor illi tħoss li kien il-mutur li kienet jimmotivak?
I had lots of friends, that were very supportive of me, and to this day I thank them for actually, even staying there.
Unselmula għax probabbilment tiseguna tajjeb.
Yeah, I had Sophie, Kylie, Emma, and many friends that were like, they stayed with me throughout the journey, that I thank them. I always thank them. I'm like, thank you for, sticking through me that size and that, mental state till now.
Mux telquk sempliċiment.
That's it, just, and I wasn't fun to be around back then. I didn't want to go out. I was miserable, the fact that they stayed is a big thing.
Hawnhekk qed naraw ukoll il-valur u sbuħija ta' dawn il-ħbiberiji meta jkunu ħbiberiji ġenwini bbażati fuq is-sinċerità u li wieħed li verament ikun ħabib tiegħek fit-tajjeb u fil-ħażin, fit-tela u fin-nisla, ġifieri taf kif kull ċirkostanza. Mhux biss meta tista' toħroġ ma' dak li jkun tgawdi u tiċċelebra. Is-siba partikolarment diffiċli, pereżempju ma nafx tħobbx issiefer.
No, now I like to go abroad. Back then there was nothing. I wasn't going abroad at all.
Probablement anke s-sit tal-ajruplan kont tħoss skomdu.
Oh, I remember the belt used to fit barely. Like even the seats, I used to barely fit in it. That was a big thing as well. I used to feel, embarrassed if there's someone sat next to me. What are they thinking about sitting next to the big girl, I used to feel very uncomfortable on planes when I had to go, Nowadays, I love going abroad, and I still enjoy it, I try.
Għandek xi post favorik? Xi pajjiż li żort?
Everywhere. I just like traveling,
Ma semmina tliet postijiet li jibqgħu.
In summer I went to the south of France, so that was, party. That was I think a very good experience for me, even confidence wise. It was just fun, to dress up and, look good, and that was very fun for me. I think that was my highlight.
X'jibnielek il-konfidenza kelli llum il-ġurnata?
My friends, but I think it's myself,
Min ġewwa.
That's it. I'm still not 100% there, I still get nervous, I still get shy, I still think about what people think of me, but my God, comparing myself, even just last year, 2025, comparing myself from the beginning of last year to the end, the change is astonishing confidence-wise, I used to really care about people's judgments. But then again, it's you have to. My trainer really did help me,
U probabbilment għandek dik il-biża wkoll ħanuża l-kelma relapse għax dik hija l-kelma li jużaw meta jkollok vizzju. Il-vizzi. Tibża li forsi tiġi f'punt li tiġi ċirkostanza f'ħajtek li sforz dak li jseħħ taqbad tiekol mingħajr ma tara xejn u terġa' taqaf dak iċ-ċiklu.
I used to. Nowadays I don't, because I don't look at food the way I used to. It's not. I didn't stop anything, I didn't restrict myself, so I'm not really scared of gaining weight at this point, for me I'm still on my journey, but the fear has kind of gone now, like I love exercising, I love going to gym, I love it, so that's it, that's as in for me, if I don't exercise once a day, I don't feel good. I look forward to it. So that's something I look forward to now.
Tmur qabel ix-xogħol jew wara ġeneralment?
Wara. I nibda fis-7, so there's not a chance of going before. I try to wake up to go for a walk at least, but I don't manage because I like to sleep as well. But and even if I have more energy after gym, I'll go for a walk on my treadmill as well. Like even that's another habit I, got used to. If I'm going to go on my phone on the couch, I'm going to go on the treadmill. So that I enjoy as well. But I had the fear.
Baqta kumpanjak mela treadmill.
That's it. I don't know how it's still running, but it's still running.
Għandha xi isem treadmill?
No. I know I should have. I really should have, because she's been quite supportive.
Eżatt. Mela dan huwa by the way, qed nisimgħu l-istorja ta' Kelly Azzopardi. Ħanifqu għal ftit imma niġu lura biex nikkonkludu flimkien ma' Kelly, ġifieri inħeġġukom biex tibqgħu hemm biex nisimgħu l-aħħar parti ta' by the way flimkien. Ibqgħu hemm.
By the way, jippreżenta Gabriel Lija.
By the way, ikompli l-aħħar parti tal-programm tal-lum qabel inkomplu nixtieq infakkarkom li by the way il-programm għandu wkoll Instagram account li huwa 103 by the way, ġifieri inħeġġukom kif qed issegwuna tfaqgħu dik il-follow biex tkomplu issegwu wkoll anki mistednin u temi li nkun għadin niddiskutu minn ġimgħa l-oħra, il-programm tistgħu segwuh ukoll on demand billi tidħlu fuq YouTube ta' Newsbook Malta, tmorru fis-sezzjoni tal-programmi tfittxu by the way u hemmhekk issibu ukoll il-programmi on demand, ġifieri minn ġimgħa l-oħra niddiskutu suġġetti differenti, kemm affarijiet li huma forsi daqsxejn kontroversjali jew li jkunu qed iseħħu fil-pajjiż bħalma aktar kmieni matul is-sena li għaddiet tkellimna dwar il-prostituzzjoni, il-homelessness, ġifieri realtajiet ukoll illi hawn f'pajjiżna imma nitkellmu wkoll dwar affarijiet oħra u nippruvaw invarjaw il-programm minn ġimgħa għall-oħra. Kelly, konna qegħdin nitkellmu qabel waqfa dwar l-imħabba tiegħek għas-safar u semmejt inna Franza u jien saqsejtek għal 3 postijiet inti tajtna wieħed. Mela biex ma taħrablix mill-mistoqsija tajjeb. Kien hemm xi postijiet oħra li baqgħu f'qalbek?
I love London. I do love London and
Għal musicals?
I love it's a silly reason. I love London for the freedom. So I used to walk everywhere. And that's another thing I'm sad about that we don't have in Malta, that ability to walk, if I want, we can, but not that safe, the fact that I could say, okay, we're going to this restaurant, it's an hour walk and I can walk it in London. In Malta, I can't do the same thing,
Vera.
That's what...
Din tiġrafna, fil-sens nejtaljan kien nkun barra minn Malta. Vera inħobb nimxi, anke jekk hemm sija.
Eżatti.
Anke għax qed tesplora l-post.
That's it. Obviously, it's a different place as well, so you enjoy it. But I do enjoy that liberty of, and even like...
Mela, Franza, Londra, it-tielet post?
I used to like, when my friend was studying in Budapest, so I used to love going to Budapest. I feel like I know it now.
Okay.
Quite well.
U meta s-sifer, jirnexxielek anki toqgħod attenta x'tiekol fis-sens li għax jiena ngħid għalija meta nsifer inkun irid induq l-ikel kollu tal-post. Jekk naħna għaddejjin rajna xi restorant u l-lejla diġà kienna ħanippjana meta ħammurġu fih, jew meta ħammorru fih.
No, 100%. No, I love food when I go abroad. But again, I prioritize, even when I went to the south of France, so we were drinking every day and all of this. I used to get up, go for a walk. If there was a gym, I would use the gym, I would...
Anki meta tkun barra minn Malta.
100%. If I have, 2 hours before we go out, one of those hours is going to be me in the gym or me going for a walk, or I used to wake up and go for a jog even, Every day I need to do some sort of movement to enjoy food, I enjoy food. Why am I going to restrict the food? Just move your body a bit more, it's still something, good. If you don't like jogging, go for a walk. If you don't like walking, see if they have any classes nearby, you can always venture out. That's another thing. You have to find what works for you. It's pointless making yourself go for a jog every day if you hate it. Don't do it. You need to find something that's going to become a habit at the end of the day. But even food-wise, I would say, okay, if I know I'm going for a big buffet meal in the evening, let's try to have, fruits in the morning, something low calorie, and I can enjoy it more in the evening rather than restrict that buffet, dinner. You just have to balance things. So don't go overboard, don't go to extremes, but be aware, be conscious, You're going to be consuming quite a lot, but it's fine as well. Then that would, when I come back to Malta, then I get back into routine and you're not going to gain. That's it. In my head, I used to think I'm going to gain 2 kilos from just eating one dinner. It doesn't work that way. The body's a bit better at working than we think sometimes. So it's you can enjoy yourself, just don't lose that control either,
Meta żidt fil-pis, inti mhux biss issakkar ġewwa u spiċċajt, mhux qed tiltaqa' ma' sħabek, imma kien hemm telfi oħra ħanejdu hekk, forsi niftħu ftit anki dwar dan.
Mela, when I started losing weight, I started losing other things. So, again, when I had gained the weight, it was horrible. I just feel I don't want to ever be in that situation again, and I don't want anyone else to be in that situation again.
Anki min jgħid li hu kuntent f'ġismu.
If they're comfortable, good on them, you know what I mean? And see, there's no one telling you, you need to, whatever. I did not feel healthy. I did not feel energetic.
State.
That's as in, I'm not my journey is not...
Eżatt, kif għedna aktar kmini. Kompli fuq telfit, għax irġet waqqaftek. Skużani.
No, I lost weight. Again, that was the biggest accomplishment of my life, probably. Opened many doors, I was working out better, going out, doing my job better. I was more sociable, and mentally I was just better. But then it wasn't all just gaining, it wasn't all just good things. I lost hair. So half my hair that used to be something I didn't worry about, I lost half of it, and to this day, it's still a struggle of mine, going to the bathroom and seeing my hair not as long as it used to be or not as healthy as it used to be. But, I did something very big, so my body needs to get used to that as well. Even clothes, the amount of clothes I've gone through, the amount of money I've spent on clothes, because obviously it's not just I lost 50 kilos overnight, it was in phases. So each phase I had to buy new clothes. So tens of bags, and I don't know how many clothes I've gotten rid of. I don't know how many clothes I've bought, but lots of money lost as well. But again,
Ma jiddispjaċikx illum il-ġurnata fis-sens
li I would have wished to have kept my hair, and not worried about it and products so much. But memx tagħmel, I did something really good. Mentally, I'm in a better place than I've ever been. So that's another, journey I'll go through then. The hair journey next.
Ekku, pass.
Eżatt.
Kelly, grazzi ħafna
tal-kuraġġ
illi kellek biex tfajdak il-video online. Ma naħseb kien hemm kuraġġ ġdid ukoll illi anke ġej taqsam l-esperjenza tiegħek magħna waqt il-programm By the Way. Minn din l-intervista, minn dan il-programm żgur li jiena nista' ninnota il-karatteristika vera sabiħa tiegħek tar-reżiljenza u l-perseveranza għaliex inti stajt bqajt hemmhekk fuq dik is-soddem dawra ma' dawk it-tliet kaxex tal-pizza jekk mhux aktar u tgħid id-dinja ħajti u tkun l-apiċi ta' min jgħid għax min itwieled tont ma jmux kwadru u għalix jiena dejjem hekk u jiena mhux ħan inbidel u l-uwija u m'hemmx tagħmel, ġifieri dawn huma frażijiet li ngħidu l-ewwel wieħed jien ġifieri mmaret niġġudika lil ħadd u xi ħaġa li nixtieq li biex nagħlqu il-programm tagħna tal-lum ukoll ikun messaġġ ta' tama u ta' kuraġġ għaliex jaf kien hemm min qed jisma'na u jgħid jiena nħossni miżerabbli għaliex jgħid f'din il-pożizzjoni li għandi ħafna pis u nixtieq innaqsu u mhux qed jirnexxieli. Jew min qed jgħid għaliex ma ninsewx li wkoll hawn min jispiċċa iżid il-pis kawża ta' mart, jiġifieri forsi fil-każ tiegħek kienet mill-bullying u mill-istress ta' meta bdilt il-pajjiż. Imma jista' jkun hemm fatturi esterni.
That's it.
U x'inhi s-sitwazzjoni ħadd ma għandu jett illi jkisser il dak li jkun bil-sienu, ġifieri dik hija dejjem kundannabbli qatt m'hemm lok ta' bullying u għandna verament inkunu sensittivi ta' kif nitkellmu għaliex b'kelma tista' tibni imma b'kelma tista' tfarrak. Jiġifieri li noqogħdu attenti kif nitkellmu u din hija għal kulħadd, anke membri tal-familja, meta jaraw forsi żgħażagħ jew adolescenti qed iżidu fil-pejs li bniedem tiksru quddiem in-nies, ma naħsibx li tkun qed tagħmillu ġid, tkun qed tagħmillu ħsara kif semmejna fil-programm tal-lum. Jiġifieri noqogħdu attenti kif nitkellmu, l-għajnuna teżisti, ġifieri inħeġġukom tfittxu l-għajnuna, xtaqt infakkar ukoll fin-numru ta' għajnuna f'każ li qed tesperjenzaw realtajiet ta' nuqqas ta' saħħa mentali, infakrukom fin-numru 1579 dak huwa n-numru tal-helpline 1579 huwa disponibbli 24 sija kuljum u jistgħu anki jassistukom f'kolunkwe bżonn illi għandkom bżonn, ġifieri nħeġġukom tiddejqux l-ewwel pass huwa illi titkellmu u ssibu ukoll min jakkumpanjakom għaliex kemm hu sabiħ meta tkun qed tagħmel vjaġġ bħal dawn u inti semmejt il-ħbieb tiegħek u meta waqafna għal ftit li probabbilment insejt xi ħbieb u żgur għaliex is-sapport tal-ħbieb narfuh wara li nkunu rnexxielna ngħaddu minn dak il-proċess, minn dik il-fażi. Ġifieri inħeġġukom ukoll imma ġifieri jekk tisseguna. U forsi il-programm tal-lum flok qalbidu għamilkom kuraġġ għatal weħlit li għatalkom qalbkom weħlit li jien issa. Jekk inħeġġukom ukoll biex tagħmlu kuraġġ. Kelly ħanħalli l-aħħar kelma f'idejk jiena.
Iva. No, I think my last word is stop setting a date to start. just start. You know, what's stopping you from starting now?
Tistennix Jannar ta' sena d-dieħla.
That's it.
U riżoluzzjonijiet.
That's it. And the only one who's controlling you is you, you know? You put yourself to bed at night. You have the means, you have the power, you have the control. Stop putting yourself down and just start. That's it.
Sibtek għatej deġa ġoħra u tamer reklam ta' zraben sewa.
Le. No.
Tajjeb, Kelly, grazzi ħafna.
Thank you.
Grazzi
Thank you for having me.
tal-kuraġġ.
Thank you.
U aħna nħeġġu ukoll lill-oħrajn biex ukoll ma jibżawx jaqsmu l-esperjenza tagħhom. Għaliex dak hija wkoll naħseb parti mill-proċess. Meta inti mhux sempliċement kellek kisba, imma meta mbagħad taqsam dak is-suċċess ma' ħaddieħor. Grazzi ħafna.
Thank you.
Nieħu l-opportunità biex nirringrazzja lit-tekniku tal-lum lil-Arter Mizzi u lil Stephen Meli li kien isomlu kumpanija, jiena Gabriel Lija, insellmilkom.
By the way, jippreżenta Gabriel Lija.